One project, one assessment. That's the Liberals' new approach to environmental assessments of major projects.
The legislation we are introducing today aims to restore public trust in how the federal government makes decisions about major projects like mines, pipelines, and hydro dams.
The government is introducing new laws to replace the National Energy Board, which was often criticized for its handling of environmental assessments and consultation with Indigenous peoples. The Liberals hope to replace it with a new body called the Canadian Energy Regulator, which will oversee pipeline regulations.
Decisions on projects will be transparent and guided by robust science, evidence, and Indigenous traditional knowledge.
Another proposed change will create the Impact Assessment Agency of Canada, which will review proposed projects. McKenna says the agency will take many different aspects to projects into consideration.
The new impact assessment will look at a project's potential impacts, not just on our environment, but also its health, social, and economic impacts over the long term, as well as impacts on Indigenous peoples.
The proposed changes come as British Columbia and Alberta are at odds over the Kinder Morgan pipeline project that the feds approved, but BC is slowing down. McKenna says the project would have got the green light under these proposed changes too.
Let's be clear. We have said that this project is in the national interest. We have worked very hard. We understand their concerns. That's why we have the Oceans Protections Plan. That's why we have a national climate plan. That's why we worked with the government of British Columbia.
Despite the government's claims, Green Party leader Elizabeth May says the changes raise many questions.
It will be very difficult to review because the changes are massive, they're complicated, and in many cases, well, the word that keeps hitting me is bizarre.
The Conservatives also took a swipe at the plan during question period.
Billions of dollars have left the energy sector thanks to this government's process. And when projects do get to a yes, this Prime Minister says no, based on politics.
Delays we saw under the last 10 years of the previous government. They did not understand that the environment and the economy go together.
There are still many questions remaining about how these processes will work, especially given the government's commitment to the United Nations Declaration on the Rights of Indigenous Peoples. And despite all the new checkpoints in place for projects, ultimately the final decision still remains with the minister, no matter who has concerns. In Ottawa, Nigel Newlove, City News.